or 800-348-1007. If you've been hitting me up on how you get yourself on board the Alan Cox Show cruise, after a long hiatus, I will have passes for you all this week around 3:20. Captain Fun's Floating Fandango is going back out on the lake on the Nautica Queen the 26th of August. Well, that's next month as of today. But tomorrow, it will be the 26th of this month. What?
Tomorrow's not the 20th. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Because tomorrow, the August, Barry.
Sorry.
That's what I'm trying to say. You got it all figured out.
What's the promo code for?
School.
Oh, that's a good question. God, can you believe it's almost, we were just talking about how, A, how early kids go back to school. B, we were kind of talking about the summer is kind of a flop, and I'm not quite sure why. Like,
well, June was cold.
Is that what it was? I couldn't put my finger on it. Like, Gwen and the kid ended up spending a lot of time at the pool, but that's, that's okay. But
remember when you first started taking her to the pool at the beginning of June or like middle of June, it was like 50 degrees.
When she had, swim team.
Yeah.
It was 54
cold.
degrees in the morning. Is that what it was? It was
July
cold.
has been a mix of 98 degrees
and
or
pouring rain.
Thunderstorms or air effect or the smoke. You can't go outside.
Yeah.
So between all the rain recently and then the air quality, it's been like you can't do anything.
Because the little one is going back to school on the 16th. My older daughter will move in to Michigan State the week after that.
This is her junior.
She'll be a sophomore at Michigan State, yeah. And, it's pretty wild. When I went to college, we were on trimesters. I don't know if any schools still do that. Like, we went to school until mid-June, and then we were back, like, end of September. I don't know if anybody does that anymore.
You only had to the end of the first trimester to either decide if you're going to keep your major or get rid of it.
If you wanted to abort any classes, boy, you had very, very minimal time. Okay, so what is going to be the 20% off code through August at CLE Clothing Company? There are 30 days in July, but only...
Nope.
Sorry. There are...
Today is the 31st day of July.
No, I was going to say there are only 30 days in August, but there aren't. There are 30 days. If you do the thing on your knuckles like I do, July, August, both the pinky knuckle, before you go back into September. So yes, this month and next month, there will be 31 full days to use the promo code...
Books.
Backpack. Protractor.
Bulletproof backpack.
Kevlar is your promo code. What do you think?
Supplies. Lunch.
I don't think it's school related.
Oh, it's not school related.
But I don't know what I don't know what it's related to, and maybe you can tell me when I tell you.
Tupperware.
Yeah, Tupperware.
Allergy.
Dude, none of it makes any sense. These words never make sense.
Tupperware is as good as anything else.
That's why it used to be fun to guess them, because they'd be themed with.
Because I was picking
with the
them.
month, yeah.
Flash is your promo code for August for 20%. Well, again, it must mean something.
Maybe that has to do with Buzzard Fest, and there's going to be a bunch of people flashing.
Maybe Jeff and Flash are going to show up at Buzzard Fest.
I was hoping for boob flashes, but...
For what?
Like a boob flash.
Well, it's not either or.
Yeah. All right, it'll be both, yeah.
All right. Listen, nothing brings out the teats like Jeff and Flash. So listen, Flash is going to be your promo code. 20% off whatever you want at CLE Clothing Company. All through today, it's still Hot 20, HOT 20. Hot 20 through July, starting tomorrow, and for the 31 days, 30 days thereafter, it'll be Flash. And you can do it in one of the stores. When you're checking out, just go, hey, get the clerk's attention. Hey. And they might be distracted or working on something else. And you go, hey, like firm but fair. And they go, what? And you throw a giant pile of things you're going to buy up there and you go, Flash. And they'll pretend, sometimes they'll pretend that they don't know what you're doing. But again, firm but fair. Or if you're online, skip all that mishigas and you can just type in Flash, clevelandclothing.com. But that'll be your code all next month. Sorry. Hey, if you listen to us on iHeartRadio from outside Ohio, tell me where you do that, because I like to know where. Chad's a bureau chief up in Erie, PA. Sean's down in West Palm Beach, Florida. Kyle's in Kansas City, Missouri. Christina listens in Vegas. You can leave us messages there, too.
Alan, idiot. Blow was literally on the Vice channel on repeat the entire weekend. I watched it a couple times. Ray Liotta is Johnny Depp's fucking father in Blow, not Pee Wee Herman. He's the gay club owner from the 70s or something. I didn't barely see him in the movie. Dumbass.
My goodness.
Well, there's not Maslin guy coming in hot. Well, listen, I appreciate it. Devotion, accuracy. You're right. The late great Ray Liotta was.
Sounds like a fun weekend.
Ray Liotta was Johnny Depp's dad. I thought that Paul Rubens was Johnny Depp's dad in Blow, but as Not Maslin guy points out, I am an idiot, and that was not the case.
Never seen that movie, so.
Blow's a great movie.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. It's old now. I forget how old Blow is, but that's got to be. When did Blow come out? 2001. Wow, that was a pre-9/11 movie. Wow.
I went on a kick in college where I wanted to see every single Johnny Depp movie. And so every time I went to like Walmart or anywhere I saw one, I would buy it. And I didn't make it very far, but I've seen a lot of them.
You didn't make it very far?
Well, I've seen a lot of them,
Have you
but
seen
not
Nick of
every
Time?
single one of them. Yes.
Love
I
Nick
loved
of
that
Time.
one. Where he's
That's
got
one
like
of
make it to the 9th gate. Or no, that's 9th gate.
Oh, God, the 9th gate.
Where he's got to make
It's like
it to
for
the
the
9th
book?
gate of hell or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So wait, then what's the difference between that one and Nick of Time?
Nick of Time is the one that takes place in real time.
Real
where
time.
They want him to assassinate a governor.
Something
When's
like
that
that.
one from?
Nick of Time?
Like
I don't
95
even
or 96.
I don't even see that on his IMDb. Oh, there it is. Okay,
Maybe
I
he
see
took it off. Nick
I
of
see it.
Time is 1995.
Yeah. It's a fun movie.
They hand him a gun, order
He's
him
so
to kill
good.
the state governor within 75 minutes.
Yeah,
Done in real
and
time.
the movie takes place in those 75 minutes.
Yeah.
It's real time.
I remember Don Juan DeMarco. I was young when I saw that. And I got all kinds of little feelings in my body about that.
Don Juan.
Yeah.
Is that about twins?
Yes.
Don and Juan DeMarco.
No, he's a crazy person who thinks he's Don Juan DeMarco. And what's his name is his therapist.
Marlon Brando.
Yeah, Marlon Brando's like trying to be like, dude, you're not this mythical love-making machine.
Right.
And he's like, yes, I am. I totally am. That was a good one.
Well, Blow was directed by Ted Demme, who was a great Jonathan Demme's nephew, I think.
Ted Danson.
Yeah, Ted Danson directed Blow. No, Ted Demme, who ironically collapsed, he keeled over dead, had a heart attack during a basketball game, and they think it was because of cocaine use.
Oh, that makes
But remember, he was like a
sense.
big deal for a while because he
Okay.
directed The Ref and he directed like the Dennis Leary concert movies and, God, what's the movie we've talked about before? We had Rappaport in here. I can't remember the name of the Beautiful Girls.
Oh, okay.
Ted Demme directed
Beautiful
Beautiful
Girls.
when
Yeah, yeah.
when everybody was like uncomfortable because Natalie Portman was gorgeous, but she was also like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, thank you, Not Maslin guy, for that devotion to accuracy. I do appreciate that. I'll take it in the spirit in which it was given. Couldn't help but think of one Mary Santora when I was reading about how the massive storms created, of course, another sewer overflow, the second in as many weeks out there at Edgewater Beach.
I didn't go.
The people out there, but you love it.
You
love swimming among the
it.
Lake Erie whitefish. And
What-
were you downwind there in Squifle Tower?
I just remember, well, was it Saturday, I think, after all those, or maybe it was Friday morning after all those storms on Thursday night.
Mhm.
It just stunk.
I love the comments. I get all my information along these lines from the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District's social media accounts. And they will really give people updated information as to kind of water quality advisories. And, if you're going to go to the beach, be aware there are bacteria levels and you can't get in there until whatever. And I really do love the comments from people because they'll give you information. And they'll say, hey, this area is being marked off, blah, blah, blah. And a couple of people were like, people need to eat less.
What?
And that's how we reduce our sewage load.
Oh, they're not 100% wrong.
Smaller poops.
Less dumps, less sewage.
Yeah. Less dumps. We'll find a way to kind of keep our sewage levels high, irrespective of what kind of garbage is going in and or coming out.
Oh, that's a big load.
But listen, if you're out there, if Edgewater is your beach, you know, they're prone to those sewage overflows. And you'd certainly like to think that maybe no small amount of infrastructure funds will be directed to mitigate that situation.
We went to the pool Saturday and Sunday of this weekend.
Which pool?
The Berea pool.
Mm-hmm.
Because
good for you.
Same amount of sewage.
Same amount of sewage. It's actually a clean pool. It's just kind of small. That's all. I bought me and Blake pool passes in like the middle of June because I was like, okay, if we come 7 times, it'll be worth it.
Sure.
And then with the air quality and the storms and the this and the that, I was like, this weekend came and I'm like, oh my God, she goes back to school in 3 weeks.
Yep.
Like, we have used this one time. So I was like, dude, we're going every day. Every weekend now, we're going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to this pool so we can get our money's worth because otherwise we're going to lose money on it. But yeah, we went.
Dragging her to the pool. You're like, I spent money on this.
Dude.
You are going to get in that pool.
Well, Brian, on Saturday, we went and met his buddy and their 2 kids up there. And it was like 75 and cloudy, which is like too cold for pool weather. 75, I don't think is warm enough. If there's sun, sure. No sun and 75 is not warm enough to be in the water.
Yeah.
So we were there for a couple hours, and the kids were like doing like the left chatter thing because at one point it was like kind of sprinkling. But I was like, I'm not gonna waste this pool pass, dude. You gotta figure it out.
That was the pool that I went to as a little kid, where I learned to
Berea
swim.
pool.
Yeah, like I went to swim lessons and stuff like that. And it's funny for you to call it kind of a small pool, but I remember it from a child's eyes.
Oh yeah.
So it was like gigantic.
Well, that's
and
where
like,
I learned to swim too.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh man, this is. I remember the first time we went in the deep end, and like there was a kiddie pool.
That's
and
still
then,
there.
And then we like moved from the kiddie pool into like the 3 feet end, and we're like, oh, this is crazy. And then we went to the deep end, and they taught us how to like hold our breath and all that stuff, and swim to the bottom. Whew.
Brian had never been there before, and he asked me, he goes, how is this pool? I was like, it's exactly the same as it was 30 years ago, only they added a water slide.
How long has he lived in Berea?
Since 2020.
And never been to the pool?
No, he doesn't get a lot of free time, and he's not really a pool guy.
Gotcha.
He's pool over beach. You'll never catch him at a beach, but
He's cool. I like Brian.
he doesn't like he's not like a lay in the sun and hang out person.
Okay.
He gets bored.
Gotcha.
Because it's boring.
It's not boring. It's relaxing.
It's not relaxing.
My girlfriend and I went yesterday.
Well, you
All
can't
right.
be relaxed if you consider it boring, because you're just lying there thinking about all the things you can do. So it's one of those things
That's
where you
him.
have to, right? You've got to. I'm trying to get better at that. I'm not good with free time.
Me either.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to get to the point. I was thinking of you guys because yesterday, I had done all my yard work earlier in the day, and so it was probably about 1 or 2. And I'm just kind of laying on the couch with my daughter and we're watching The Simpsons. And I'm like, I bet I could go to sleep right now.
Oh.
I bet I could take a nap.
Wait a
Do
minute.
it.
Did you do it?
I didn't do it. Because then I started thinking about the stuff I should be doing.
There's no should.
So I go, well, I'm hanging out with my daughter, which obviously I don't get to do that much during the week. I miss all the pool stuff she's doing. You know, Gwen sends me video of like, you know, the little ones going off the high dive board or
Blake
whatever.
just went off the diving board for the first time this weekend.
So I'm like, I'm missing that kind of stuff. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm hanging out with her right now. We're, you know, chatting or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't get into it.
Couldn't close your eyes.
I couldn't. Well, I'm like, I'm not going to waste this time. You know, if I'd been by myself, I'm like, maybe. But then I'm sure I would have figured out something to do.
Yeah.
But the thought, it's progress. The thought did cross my mind
That's the first step.
that I could just
Acknowledging it.
close my eyes on a Sunday afternoon, and maybe that would have some fun.
Step 1 is acknowledging you have a problem.
True. Yeah, I didn't have a problem. By the way, man, so many fracases out there at Cedar Point. You know, we were just talking last week about how they call in multiple SWAT teams out of Put in Bay because of all the people coming in from Detroit. And they're coming into Cedar Point, and some lady got scooped up. Some woman who was getting into a Donnybrook with some people at the kids' pool.
Ugh.
She's screaming at some guy. Now, she said it's a misunderstanding because she described herself as a Christian woman and a grandmother. I don't know what the hell that means. But she said that the accusation was that she called another kid a brat and a fat ass. and pushed him off of a floating toy. And they threw a disorderly conduct at this woman or something. Confrontation between her son and a 67-year-old Michigan resident, right? 67. So the kid's probably being a dick to a 67-year-old person, and the grandma comes over, said she did call the boy a brat, but said she never swore at that person. And but boy, people just can't keep it together. You're supposed to be having fun at the water park, right? You're supposed to be just laying back, doing the backstroke in other people's urine. That's the fun part.
And if you're from Michigan, you're used to that.
Yeah. Love it. And so the woman who spoke to the police, they determined that she had given them a phony name, a fake address, and a phone number that just rang busy. And the woman finally admitted, I guess bearing false witness isn't part of her whole Christian methodology there, but they arrested her for obstruction and thrown into a Sandusky squad car. Now, for those of you who thought that the Sandusky squad car was a sex move, you're not wrong. But in this case, quite literal. She lives in Michigan somewhere. But I'll tell you what, these people, I don't know why we can't come together and just have fun. Just have fun.
I went to Michigan this weekend, and I just had fun.
Oh, you were in Detroit,
Yeah, I
weren't you?
did some shows at this place called...
You couldn't tell anybody where you were.
Don't tell.
Where did you end up being?
It's called True North Detroit.
Uh-huh, it's
And
a gas station.
No, it's a little neighborhood.
Oh.
And they're made, they're like Quonset huts. So they're like...
It's like an artist in residence, it's like a community made out of shipping containers or something.
Kind of, I mean, they're Quonset huts, so they're like half circles, basically. Like tubes, basically. But they're really cool. And that's where the show was. And it was...
It's like where Charlie had his wood shop.
Yeah.
That kind of place.
Yeah, that kind of place.
Yeah.
And it was really fun, and like the audience was awesome.
Acoustics had to be murder. Aren't those
No, it's
aluminum?
No, because they had the one that it was in was built for like entertaining, so it had drywall up, which helped a lot. The acoustics were actually not that bad at all, and it was just it made me look into those things. I'm like, how much would one of those cost to build?
Way more than you think.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they look cool, and the ones that are really done that people live in,
like tiny
are
homes,
awesome. No, it's like a
semicircle kind of tube. You know what a Quonset hut is? It's
No,
like
I don't.
Yeah, it's like usually they're stainless steel, and they
like the outside was stainless steel, but
they're like artist in residence type joints.
But they were pretty neat.
These look like fallout shelters.
Yeah, that's
Kind
what
of.
I said. I was
Like-
like, hey, you guys aren't safe if you're in the bomb shelter with the person bombing.
So so how many people get in one of these? Like what kind of crowd are you looking at there?
The one that we had like 80 people in it on Saturday.
Yeah.
But then some of them are multi-unit because they're built up a little bit and they have like 2 stories, but a lot of people just live in it by themselves.
You would
Well, I was
want
gonna
to
say,
live in this?
A lot of them end up being like Airbnbs and stuff too.
Buy a trailer. Why don't
This
you
is
just buy a...
stationary?
I'm not doing any of that.
But
I'm
you
gonna
can
live
buy
where I
a
live,
trailer
but-
and then take the wheels off of it.
These
And then
are-
This
it's
is like a
also
little
stationary.
community.
Yeah.
It's like a little
So is
community.
a trailer park.
It's a cute little community.
Mary.
But what I'm saying is you don't have to spend $400,000 or whatever one of these costs.
I don't think
Kid.
that's how much
These
they
are
cost.
not $400,000.
How much do they cost?
I don't know.
Nobody would buy one if they were
What's that hut
$400,000.
price? Once you get all your stuff in there and
Well,
how
everything.
much to...
Well, how do I know how much my
I
stuff
just thought
is?
they were neat. I was looking at them and I was like, okay, well, it's going to be expensive
and
to
he
do
just
anything.
performed in one.
Yeah,
he
just
didn't
did-
move
yeah.
in.
Well, he was saying he was thinking about it.
Well, I
know.
just looked at it, but it's like the same thing you always do when you go to a new place. You're like,
Yeah.
let's see what things cost.
Because
Let's
Detroit's
see
on the
what-
come
yeah.
up.
It is.
Yeah, of
Detroit
course.
City.
That's right.
Getting back on their feet.
When they ask you where you're from,
Yep.
I've got to take a break. If you want to send a text, 35192. You want to watch AlanCoxShow.com for all the pictures.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.